It's the 1st of February, everyone's talking about the Fed FOMC meeting and so on, but I've got something even bigger for you. I don't know why nobody's talking about this. Obviously, some people know about this, but most don't. And guys, take a look at this. Bitcoin on the monthly chart has risen up by 40% last month. And I want to put that in perspective for you. The last time that Bitcoin pumped up by this much, look, 40%. Last time Bitcoin pumped up by this much wasn't when we set our all-time high. All right, this was like 39. It wasn't on our rally initially. It wasn't any of these candles. It was actually back here. If we go all the way back in December, this was the biggest candle that Bitcoin had, apart from what we're seeing right now. It wasn't on our rallies up previously, up until December 2020. That's 2 years ago since we've seen anything this strong. And it's meant that we formed a bullish engulfing candle. Now, if you don't know what that is, that's basically where one candle erases the progress of previous candles, right? And we could have closed a little bit higher and it would have been even more impressive because we would have engulfed this candle and this candle as well. But as it is, with this one monthly candle here, we have engulfed the past 4 months of price action. I don't care if it's 4 months of price action or 6 months of price action. That is fucking impressive. There's no two ways about it. That is extremely impressive to be erasing 4 months of price action within 1 month. Bam. Just like that. It's exactly what I was warning you guys about as we were down in the trenches, where I was telling you guys that it doesn't take a lot for Bitcoin to get very bullish again. I've said this to you before. I've said it to you again while we were in this range, and I'll keep saying it to you when Bitcoin gets down in the trenches again in the future, because Bitcoin is one of the most irrational, volatile assets known to man as far as, major assets go. And a result of that is if people get excited, it pumps up really hard. And this has some really strong implications for where the price might go, and I've got to cover this with you. You're really, really going to like this video. So here's the thing, is this is huge, 40%, the biggest monthly increase we've seen since December 2020. And what I think is interesting, before I actually continue with the implications of this, is if we take a look at Ethereum, Ethereum hasn't actually seen as strong of a move. Ethereum right here has risen up nicely. It's up by only 33%. It's still obviously a nice gain, but last July, what we had back here, this was a 56% candle. So it's interesting that we haven't actually pumped up as much as what we did previously. Obviously, if we look at Bitcoin, it's a totally different story. July for Bitcoin, from our open to our close, was only 16%. I mean, Ethereum absolutely skyrocketed and Bitcoin was left in the dust. One of the things this could mean, and there's a bullish or bearish interpretation to this, and you're going to see this throughout the rest of this YouTube video, because I'm not one of the shit-munching YouTubers out here that will just kind of, talk complete shit, not understanding what the markets are saying. But actually, my job as an analyst, first and foremost, is to doubt myself, is to question myself and critique my own analysis. And a big part of that, guys, is telling you the limitations of my analysis. So here's the deal. This candle was huge for Ethereum back in July, but we didn't get something similar now while Bitcoin pumped up really high. And there's two interpretations to this. Number one, both interpretations are roughly the same. It's just the conclusion is different. Is that it means there's less money going into the altcoin market this time. There are exceptions. Obviously, some coins like Solana pumped up massively, but overall, there's just less interest in the altcoin market. And I'm not speculating there. If we look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, you actually see quite nicely, last month, Bitcoin picked up a lot of dominance right here. From its open at 42.1 to its close at 44.3. I know it might not sound like a lot, but a 2% increase like that for Bitcoin dominance is pretty big, and we're still ranging sideways, as I predicted for you a very long time ago. And I think that's interesting to observe, because it's showing us quite clearly that while the market was pumping up this time, people weren't really interested in altcoins. People were much more interested in Bitcoin only. And to me, that's a really bullish thing. To me, that's a sign that we're getting a more legitimate rally. Because what happens when we see altcoins rally first, or altcoins rally with Bitcoin at the beginning, is that it's just too much hype. There's just too much shit going on. And that's not sustainable, right? We want to see that in the later stages of our bull market, not at the very beginning. If we want to see a more sustained bull market, we want to see that towards the end, not at the beginning. because that's a mark of something happening at the end. I think that's one of the key reasons that when we saw this happen to Ethereum back in July of last year, it didn't stick. This is a sign of people being irrational, way too irrational. But we're actually seeing the opposite here. We're seeing that people are not confident in shitcoins, as they shouldn't be anyway, because they're all completely baseless, but they are confident in Bitcoin, the king of the market. So that's a really strong sign to me. Other people, they're not going to like that because it just means less people are speculating in the market. I understand that perspective, but I've always had this perspective where if Bitcoin moves first, it's healthier for the market. And so I welcome this with open arms. But to dive into what this actually means, there's some really, really cool stuff that I want to show you right here on these charts. It's actually with this right here. We've had a couple examples of bullish engulfing candles in the past, but some that I want to highlight are actually right here. There's this one right here from May of 2014 where Bitcoin pumped up by 39%, which was very, very impressive, but it didn't result in a market reversal. And then there's this one right here that Bitcoin printed in January of 2020, right before the whole pandemic took the West in its grips. Pardon me. And we saw a very nice 30% rally here, again, engulfing the previous candle, at least one, if not two or three of the last candles engulfing them. And this one very clearly engulfed the two previous candles. But again, it didn't really result in anything. And that's the first thing I want to show you again. This could very well happen again. It would make a lot of sense if Bitcoin ended up doing something like this at our current stage in the market, because we are still in a really aggressive downtrend. We are not in a good position overall, and it's all the same factors that I've been talking to you about for quite some time, where even though I do expect and did expect, now it's already kind of started, even though I did expect a bullish rally in the short term, mid-term, long-term, it's pretty hard for me to be mega bull right now, because the setup just isn't in Bitcoin's favor. That doesn't mean I'm not bullish or that I can't be bullish, but right now, the setup just isn't in Bitcoin's favor. And I think this is important because some people, when they start seeing this, are immediately going to start getting carried away. And we know this because the fear and greed index has been pretty high. We actually sat at 61. Now we're back into neutral territory, but it's pretty clear that, you see what I mean? Like, I haven't said glasses, I haven't searched for glasses, I haven't looked at sunglasses, my friends haven't been speaking about glasses. I don't know where these cookies come from with my ads. But anyway, the fear and greed index has been pretty high as well, showing us the very same thing, right? People are definitely starting to creeping into a bit of excitement, a bit of greed and stuff like that. And I totally understand why, but I think it's important to keep in mind that, 2 days ago we were at a reading of 61, right? And, if we look at where Bitcoin was in terms of its price, 2 days ago we were up here, let's call it $23,600. Last time Bitcoin traded up here would have been what, like on this candle, the 17th of August. Guys, if we take a look at where Bitcoin was on the 17th of August in terms of our sentiment index, where's the 17th of August? Right around here. 17, we were at a reading of 41. The day after, we were at a reading of 30. Right, I think this is really telling, because we were at much lower, like 30 compared to 61. We were at much lower ratings on our fear and greed index before than we are now. And that, I don't care if you don't like it or if you do like it, it's not going to change the facts. That is extremely synonymous. It is very much like what happens in a bear market rally. And a bear market rally, of course, is an uptrend that we get within a bear market, which eventually ends up dropping down and setting new lows. I don't make the rules. I don't even like saying it. I told you I don't care if you like it or not. Shit, I don't like it myself. But again, that doesn't change the facts. That doesn't change reality. And these are important things to ground yourselves. Because the next thing, grab your fucking jetpack, mate. This is where it gets really, really exciting, is we haven't done anything similar to this so far within our rally. This is the monthly chart, right? If we go back onto the BLX chart, this is the monthly time frame for Bitcoin. Bam, take a look at this. We haven't set any sort of bullish candle like this since the all-time high. Not even close. Nothing even close. From open to close, like I said, this was 17%. Right here, this was 12%. We just haven't come close. This has been one of the most disgusting bear markets I've ever seen in my life, that I've ever even studied. This has been horrible from start to basically last month, and now we're starting to see some really, really promising signs. This is coming at the same time where we're looking at things like the golden cross coming up. The golden cross with the 100-day and 50-day has already happened. The golden cross with the 200-day and 50-day is about to happen as well. And there's a video coming up for that. So if you're excited for that, do me a favor, smash up the likes and subscribe to this YouTube channel as well if you haven't done so already. These present a lot of really, really interesting and impressive trading opportunities. And real quick, before I continue talking about that, I do want to highlight for you that this OKX right here is a brilliant opportunity to take advantage of it. Just like Bybit, you guys know that I talk about Bybit quite a lot. OKX is offering you guys 30K in rewards. These are actually easier to get because you're getting them from so-called mystery boxes. I know it's a little bit silly, but it's a lot easier to get up to $30,000, or in this case, just with these mystery boxes, 20K, and then you can boost it up to 30. You know, just by luck. Which, if you don't have $250,000, which you would need for Bybit, you know, in order to get that 30K bonus, you don't need to worry about that. In fact, you can deposit, what is it, like as little as like $50 or something. You get a lot for what you're putting in. And I think this is a great opportunity to take advantage of. OKX is actually an exchange that's been around for many years. They're one of the oldest ones in the game, which is good because you want to make sure your money's in a safe place, obviously. And these guys are legit. They've been around for a while. I've never heard anything bad about them. There might be something bad about them. I don't know. Go Google it. There probably is. There's probably something bad about every exchange. But there's never been a flare-up. There's never been anything big. And that is very impressive considering they've got more history than exchanges like Bybit. So if this is something that interests you, if you like trading in safe places and you like a lot of free cash that you can put into your trading account, go ahead and check OKX out with the link in the description down below. They are a new channel sponsor. I've been obviously looking at them for years because they've been around the market for a very long time. And it'll also help out this YouTube channel if you get yourself a chance to earn up to 30K for free as rewards. So very, very cool offer indeed right there. Now, see, the implication with engulfing candles, I didn't even get to that yet, is and we're going to get back to this very impressive chart right here in just a second. The implication with these engulfing candles is that we're reversing momentum. We're starting to switch things up, right? If we all of a sudden erase what happened over the last few months, that's showing us that this stuff didn't really matter. In fact, it's showing us that this very well could have been an opportunity for smart traders to just pick up cheap Bitcoin. And now, you know, imagine that, you know, the thing's trying to like absolutely just blow up. Now that lid has been removed and we can just, you know, we can just go. Wow. Classic horrible analogies on this YouTube channel. You already know what you're getting when you come onto this YouTube channel. You know, and it's like there is like some pressure stopping the price from rising up, but then, you know, we take it away. That's what happens with these bullish engulfing candles. And it's also, we have seen these kind of things end you know, bear markets in the past. You know, a really good example of that is right here when we were down at $3,000 with our 2018-2019 bear market. This is actually what ended the bear market, and it's really significant in my opinion. And I think what makes it even more impressive is that we only engulfed one candle over here, right? This bullish engulfing candle only eclipsed one candle, not two, not three, not four, because we have four right now, not even nearly 5 or 6. By the way, to put it in perspective, this is where 5 and 6 are. No, literally just one, but it ended the bear market. And that, I think, is really significant. I think that's a really strong point. Even previously, right, we didn't quite get an engulfing candle right here. I think this chart is on screen. Let me see if I can find it. We didn't quite get an engulfing candle right here because the previous one should have been what engulfed the price action, but it was still more or less the same thing, right? Where we kind of did nothing right here, but this candle right here, bam, just completely erases what happens over the last, you know, I mean, in this case, 8 months or so. Again, not technically an engulfing candle, so we can't give it that same credit, but still kind of telling us the same story. And I think that's interesting and important to point out because if we are looking at something similar right now, we've got the right sign. And that's actually one of the key things that I was talking to you about in a recent video, which you'll know if you're already subscribed to the YouTube channel, is that even though it's hard to say that this market is definitely going mega bull right now, we are showing all of the right signs, right? I mean, as far as Bitcoin can show the right signs for potentially starting a new bullish rally, we have it right now. And actually, that's what makes the markets difficult, because a lot of people that are not traders, that are not experienced traders, will just kind of act like things were obvious in hindsight. but they're not. And in situations like this, it really can go either way, you know, and that's why people are speculating on this, and that's why smart people and rich people are also losing their money betting on these things, because it really can go either way. I don't want to call it a toss-up, because we are still in a bear market. We are still in a macroeconomically poor situation, right? These facts haven't changed, so I don't actually think it's that evenly split 50-50, but just technically, just looking at this chart technically, guys, it's hard to argue what I'm saying. I think, you know, that this really could. I mean, it's got all the right signs. Is it just gearing up to be a mega bull trap? That would make a lot of sense, you know, because we also have all of the right signs showing us that something like that could be about to take place in this market as well. You know, we do. And that's just one of the unfortunate realities here. This is a chart that I outlined to you guys a little while back. You're going to know about this if you've been watching this channel for a while. And this ugly resistance line is rearing its head once again. This is, not coincidentally, exactly where Bitcoin topped out last month. Now, does that mean that we can't blast through it? No, not necessarily. It's actually not even a very strong line at all, in my opinion. If we take a look at what actually happened here, yes, we had a lot of interaction with it back here in 2021, but we had kind of hit or miss interactions with it here in 22. Yes, we did have a monthly candle closing right here, which is definitely significant. We nearly came up here. I think this is good enough, but it's not that many interactions, right? You can kind of, if you want to be very, very brutal about it, you can kind of bunch this up together and say this was all one interaction. It wasn't. I think you can safely say that we had many interactions with this line right here. But then after that, we had number 2 and 3, and that's it. It is across a lot of time, so this is definitely a trend line that I think is worth paying attention to. That's why I'm showing it to you. But it's not the strongest resistance Bitcoin has. You know, in my opinion, a stronger resistance area for Bitcoin would be what's up at 30K, because that's a lot clearer in terms of just kind of horizontal resistance. It's hard to see on this time frame, but if we zoom out, actually, we just go to the Coinbase chart, where I'm pretty sure I already have it drawn. You know, it's a lot more obvious here. I mean, it's very clean. Historically, there's a lot more interactions with it. You know, resistance as well. Very, very obvious that, you know, this range stretching between basically 30,000, 29,500 up to 33 is clearly a resistance zone. You know, and I think that these kind of levels are going to be more important, but things like this are still important to keep in mind nonetheless. You know, it's just too easy to get washed away with the sentiment in the market right now. You know, I mean, it's not easy to stand solid, hold your ground, stay rational and grounded at a time like this, especially because we've really been through it over these last months. I mean, we really have gone through a lot of trauma over these last few months, so naturally people are going to be wanting and expecting a little bit of relief. And now that it's coming, well, what I've just said kind of summarizes it in itself, right? Relief. Not necessarily, you know, a full cure or treatment, but relief. You know, and I think this is just one of those unfortunate things where, you know, like, it's not so nice to digest, but it's still true. Like, it's still a reality of the market. Again, another example right here. Beautiful engulfing candle on the monthly, bullish engulfing candle right here. It does result in the market taking off. Very, very nice price action indeed. Even something similar right here. This is also an engulfing candle, but it's just too big, so it doesn't really look like it. And of course, our price history reporting wasn't completely accurate back here, so this candle close and this candle open wasn't even possible, because Bitcoin is a 24/7 market, but obviously the data reporting just wouldn't have been super accurate back then. But we've got many examples of where these kind of bullish engulfing candles do actually work in Bitcoin's favor. We do have a couple of examples where it doesn't. Here's another beautiful example of a bullish engulfing candle allowing Bitcoin to rally on much higher towards $69,000, and this was down from a low of 35. Actually, the actual low was 29, right? So I think that, again, really says a lot about what these bullish engulfing candles can mean. You know, it's not just the fact that we've had these before and they've performed really well for Bitcoin. It's also that this one erases 4 months of price action. You know, that is really something. You know, this is like, get ready for another horrible analogy. This is like you've got an underdog, you know, who is constantly just getting beat up in the wrestling ring, you know, just constantly getting a bad treatment. And one day, this guy's got the right sensei or the right coach or whatever you want to call it. He comes in and he fucking cleans up, you know? And it's like, well, shit, maybe it was a fluke. Maybe it was a fluke. But maybe he's got a really good fucking coach. And maybe this is a sign that things are going to turn around. It really depends on how hopeful you are, and it's important to weigh this up against the backdrop of sentiment and other factors like that. You know, I don't think that we're about to form a golden cross by accident. Look at this. This is literally going to happen, like, in a week. And I don't think anything can stop this now. You know, even if Bitcoin dumps really hard, we're still getting a golden cross on the daily time frame. I'm not going to talk about that now. If you want to see it, smash up the likes, double check that you're subscribed as well, and that you've got the bell icon checked as well, so that you don't miss it, because that is a really, really big video as well. There's a couple big videos. Obviously, this is one of them that I wanted to make for you recently. Actually, I wanted to talk to you about this before, and you will know about that if you were watching a previous video, but I had to wait until the 1st of February, because otherwise there's no point analyzing the monthly time frame, right, before the month even closes. Because the thing is when we were up here, the monthly close was even more impressive, simply for the fact that, you know, Bitcoin would have engulfed 6 candles instead of 4, which is, I mean, engulfing 4 in and of itself is mind-blowing. I mean, that is absolutely huge. But to engulf 6, that's a further 50% on top. So that's very, very impressive as well. It's fine. We didn't get it. That's okay. I think it would be fine if we even, you know, if we even got a pullback. You know, bullish engulfing candles like this don't necessarily need to just go up straight away. You know, it can be a sign of really strong things to come. Because ultimately, what I'm reading from this kind of candle, and what I would encourage you guys to consider, is that this doesn't necessarily mean we've just got a jetpack that doesn't have an off switch right now and we're going up to the moon. But what it could definitely mean is that momentum is shifting. Momentum doesn't have to shift and then stay positive the whole time. It can have pullbacks, it can have reversals, it can have continuations, it can have consolidation periods, and still continue on upwards. The main thing we're looking at is the trend and key reversal signs of that trend. And again, you know, as far as a bullish engulfing candle goes, as far as reversal signs go, this is one of the strongest ones that we could have asked for. So I really like that. I want to show you an example of where we got a bullish engulfing candle and it didn't immediately result in something crazy. I think a good example is actually right here, where, you know, we did get a very nice move up with this engulfing candle. The next one moved up too, but it took Bitcoin a bit of time, right? About 5 months to actually continue up higher after that. And I think that's important. You know, sometimes, look, here's another engulfing candle. Bitcoin has a lot of these. Sometimes with these engulfing candles, it is just up only and we never come back down, you know, and actually it's fairly common for Bitcoin because Bitcoin's a very volatile asset, but it doesn't have to be that way. It's hard to find examples right now while I'm just live on video, but it doesn't have to be that way. We can definitely have kind of consolidation. Here's another example where it doesn't immediately take off. It is just kind of slow, and then bam, that's when the real excitement comes in right here. You know what I mean? So that's something which I think is important to consider. We even had a bullish engulfing candle right here. Look. So there's a lot of them on the chart, and it's about weighing up the significance of them. So I think it's a really interesting place that we're in this market right now. You know, I already outlined to you guys in one of my previous videos, and that analysis was absolutely stellar. It was literally at the top that I told you guys Bitcoin's in a great position to drop down. And some of you guys actually managed to take advantage of that drop and pull some nice gains on it, which is absolutely amazing. But I still think that there's a lot of opportunity for that. The fact is we're back in this range, which is really concerning. And if we lose it, I think there's a very easy, predictable, you know, 4 or 5% drop right here, and then a further, you know, kind of 8 to 14% drop. You know, if we end up falling deeper into our support areas. I don't count this area as particularly important support. It's not like a crazy amount. This is definitely important, actually. But I think the main star of this show as far as support goes is going to be this box right here, which stretches between 18.5 and 19.5. So I'm actually just going to remove this just for now to avoid confusion. I think that these are really nice gaps to be trading. I already outlined that from here down to the bottom of this range, which we hit, is a 4 or 5% move. And I told you guys what that would look like in terms of profits. What's really exciting about all of this is Exchanges like OKX and Bybit are offering you free cash to take advantage of any setup that you see. This is extremely impressive. You don't really have to do anything and you get free money that you can throw into the market. You can test theories with it. You can trade normally with it. You can YOLO that money and throw it into a ridiculously stupid trade, which obviously wouldn't be smart, but it's free. So you can do whatever you like with it. And again, the really cool thing about OKX is anyone can access these huge bonuses of up to 30K. You know, with Bybit, it's a lot harder to get very big bonuses. If we take a look at it, for example, it's still entirely possible. And I know that, you know, you guys have done that as well. But for example, to get a $5,000 deposit, you got to deposit over $1,000. To have a chance at getting 30K, you have to deposit like $50. You know what I mean? Like, it's just way easier with OKX. With Bybit, it's guaranteed that it's going to happen. With OKX, you're playing on luck. You're getting a mystery box, and if the mystery box opens and it's worth up to 10K, you're going to get that, which is really, really cool. You know, you don't have to worry about that barrier to entry. And again, what's even more impressive about OKX is that they've been around for so long. They are one of the oldest players in this industry, and again, without any problems. You know, I've never heard of, I don't know about you, but I've never heard of anything bad happening with these guys, and that's incredibly impressive considering that they've been around for so long, that they've survived things like FTX, they've survived the USDT FUD, they've survived you know, any number of FUD article pieces on, you know, South Korean traders, which I believe is either where OKX is or was based. I'm pretty sure they were based there or something like that. You know, there's been a lot of shit that's gone down that could have hurt these guys, and it didn't. They're still around, and now they're offering you a really, really cool reward. And bam, there's me with a book. I love books. So go ahead and check it out if you think that that kind of thing would be interesting to you. If you have enjoyed this video, you know exactly what to do. Hit up the likes, subscribe, tick the bell, do all that good stuff. Let me know what you want to see in these YouTube videos as well. I really do appreciate that. And a final note on the comments as well. There's a lot of spam comments, and it's pretty hard to get them with my spam filter. My spam filter is actually a little bit too sensitive. It's capturing normal comments too sometimes. And by the way, some people are like, you know, look at how many spam comments there are. Mate, you should see how many comments get caught in the spam filter. You know, like, the spam filter is disgusting. You know, you see what's on the actual YouTube comment section, and there is a lot of spam. The spam filter is catching way more. They're hard, and the thing is there'll be a bunch of brand new or whatever, just, you know, new accounts or bot accounts basically that are talking about some weird, like, Amazon coin, like AMZ123X or some bullshit like that. And then you'll just see like another 100 comments talking about that same coin and basically pumping it up. Be careful. You know, don't be gullible. You know, I am vehemently against altcoins. Not necessarily for that reason, because most of them are scams, but they're not as obvious in terms of scams. Like, most of them actually try to do something, they just are very bad at it. You know, and that's why I just like to remind you guys that, yeah, there is no easy way to make money in these markets. And if somebody is presenting it to you with a lot of hope and stuff like that, you know, well, to be fair, you wouldn't be watching this YouTube channel if you'd fall for stuff like that, but I feel a social responsibility to say this anyway. So there you go. I hope you have enjoyed this one. We've been pretty thorough here with the monthly analysis. Definitely a lot to go over, and some really cool opportunities for you as well to get huge rewards. If you do this and Bybit, you've got up to 60K that you have up for grabs right here, which is insane. There's no two ways about it. That is ridiculous. 60K that you can get basically as demo money. It's turning into pretty insane territory right there. So if you want to take advantage of them, the links are in the description down below, and of course it does help the channel out as well. Show OKX a little bit of love. All right, guys, there you go. I'm out. Cheers.